all this stuff into existence? By your same logic. Where's your proof? I have scientists talking about the Big Bang, talking about supernovas all over the world. So where's your proof? This is stuff that has been researched for decades, for years. Where's your proof that God came down and created the solar system and everything like that? Where's the proof? There's nothing to back that up. But we have scientists and PhDs to back up supernovas. So this is what I'm talking about again. And I'm only mentioning it because since we're talking about the creation story, we have to mention what science tells us about the creation story. This is how you do research. You have to look at everything. My point again is I'm not agreeing 100% with what it's talking about. My whole thing again is the Bible is not even on par with what these PhDs and these scientists around the world is saying about how the universe came into existence. That's my point that this dude obviously don't understand. But he's trying to be funny and make it like, I'm just out of this world with me talking about supernovas like it's some make-believe fairy tale stuff like Noah's Ark, and Samson and stuff like that, all the make-believe shit in the Bible. But he want to, rag on billions of years and supernovas and stuff like that scientists and people far smarter than him and me is talking about around the world. So this is something that you will see a lot in Egyptian mythology. And they really venerated a lot of things that symbolize self-creation. And the dung beetle is definitely one that they use a lot. And it's a self-creator. It symbolizes rebirth. If you even go back to the other Egyptian creation stories, you have Atum, which in the dynasties, they call Atum the self-creator.
All right, dude, that's ancient mythology. That's ancient Egyptian mythology. That has nothing to do with the Bible. Because just like I just read earlier, Exodus 4:20, I mean, we don't worship beetles and suns and animals and stuff like that because we are forbidden to do that. We worship the one and only true God, the creator of all. We don't worship these things that are on the earth. So if the Bible forbids us from doing that, then how come whoever stole this information from Kemet, how come they didn't include that in the Bible? You have a contradiction there. On the one hand, yeah, you can go ahead and you can worship all of these animals and suns and stars and moons and all of that, but in the Bible it says that we are forbidden to do that. Only worship the one and only true God. So which is it? And where did the contradiction go? How did the contradiction get slipped in there? So at what point of the Bible, or at what point was the Bible being written that someone came along and says, well, let's go ahead and make it to where people are instructed to not worship these animals and dung beetles and suns and stars and moons? So, I mean, that's just going to show you that the Bible is not stolen from ancient Kemet, because if ancient Kemet is basically co-signing saying that that you should be doing this, and then the Bible comes along and says that you shouldn't be doing it, I mean, come on. Doesn't sound like that the Bible is stealing from Kemet. Sounds like that is going against Kemet.
So this dude has nothing. So he got to just make up stuff and come up with stuff. So again, never once did I say that the Bible stole the Egyptians looking at the dung beetle and having it represent the sun. Never said that. Never said that the Bible stole from Kemet about the Egyptians venerating the sun and things like that. Never said that. I was simply talking about the fact that the Egyptians looked at the dung beetle and said that, it basically represents the sun because of how it pushes the dung across the sand, representing the sun moving across the sky. And everything I talked about in there, you understood what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the Bible stole that, because you don't find that in the Bible. The Bible not talking about no dung beetle and stuff like that. My point about that is the whole thing with the sun is, of course, Jesus is the sun. So then when you have Jesus dying on the cross and then coming back and being reborn again the third day, the whole winter solstice stuff, it's rebirth, just like the dung beetle. That's the point I was making that he's going to kind of jump into in this next part. So one of the things I really want people to start doing, those who are willing to actually do the research, is to just pay attention to what science is telling us into common sense. this video is obviously not for people who are stuck in their ways about the Bible. Some people don't want to change what they believe. Some people are fine with what they think, not what they know. But we have been telling people, Jesus is the Son. God is the Son. That's basically what they're talking about in the Bible. I mean, science tells us that the Earth is basically 4.5 billion years old. So that already just wipes out the Bible right there as far as the creation timeline. If you have an older Bible printed before the 1940s, I think 1952 is when they stopped putting that in the back of the book, the timeline of the chapters, the books in the Bible. So you have Genesis basically being created between 4000 BCE and 1600 BCE, I believe it is. So that's, 6,000 years ago. So when we say that, the Bible has the world being created only 6,000 years ago, we have trees older than 6,000 years. So we know it's not true.
Again, what is the solid, hardcore evidence that the Earth is billions of years old, 4.5 to 5 billion years old? No one was there. You can't test it, and it wasn't observed. So it's not science. That's philosophy. Okay? And the Bible is a book about philosophy. It's not a science book. The book is talking about the one who was there, who created it. So how are you going to go against the God of the Bible, the one who was there when the earth was created? But you're going to listen to men who say that, the earth is 4.5 to 5 billion years old. How do you know that? Well, we speculate. What? How? How do you even come up with that number? Where's your evidence for that? You said you got trees from 6,000 years. That's older than 6,000 years old. How? How do you determine the age of a tree? And people go say, you can count the tree rings. Oh, really? Because from what I learned from science, you said you got trees from 6,000 years. That's older than 6,000 years old. How do you determine the age of a tree? How do you determine the age of a tree? From what I learned from science, how do you determine the age of a tree? From what I learned from science, that trees, depending on their environment, it depends on how many rings that they grow a year. So, for instance, if a tree is basically, let's say if a tree is in a forest, okay? If it's in a forest and it's sitting by a great source of water, let's say if it's like in a rainforest or something, that tree can grow multiple rings a year. So it may grow 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 rings that year, because it's in such a great environment. Whereas a tree that's probably in a harsh environment where it's not getting that much rain, it's not by any great sources of water, it may only do maybe a ring every 1 to 3 or 4 years. And that's scientifically proven. So how are you going to go against the God of the Bible, the one who was there when the earth was created? But you're going to listen to men who say that, the earth is 4.5 to 5 billion years old. From what I learned from science, and that's scientifically proven. How do you determine the age of a tree? And that's scientifically proven. So counting rings and all of that stuff means nothing. You may look at a tree ring and you may say, this tree is over, 500 and 600 years old, because you've counted the rings on it. That tree may only be about maybe 100 years old, depending on the climate that it's in. Where's your evidence for that? Once again, from what I learned from science, trees, depending on their environment, it depends on how many rings that they grow a year. You may look at a tree ring and you may say, this tree is over, 500 and 600 years old, because you've counted the rings on it. That tree may only be about maybe 100 years old. From what I learned from science, and that's scientifically proven. But you're going to listen to men who say that, the earth is 4.5 to 5 billion years old. From what I learned from science,
Dude, how do you know that God exists? With what? How do you come up with that? How do you come up with God said, let there be light? You got one book that tells you this stuff. One book. that's talking about God said this and God said that. There's no proof to back it up. You have no proof. By your own logic, you have no proof. Your whole argument is completely in the trash based off your own logic. Then, as other people probably picked up as well, you contradict yourself. 1 minute, you're talking against science. Well, how can you prove a tree? First of all, I never said anything about counting rings on a tree. Never said nothing about that. So I don't know where that whole rant came from. So, excuse me. So, never said anything about counting rings on a tree. Then you say, well, science tells us, or I learned in science. And then you say science proves. So how can we tell if a tree is over 6,000 years old? Science. So science is all good when it suits you. But as soon as it goes against what you're talking about, then science is nothing. Science is stupid. You can't deal with science when it goes against your Bible and what you're trying to speak to. But then in the same breath, you use science to try to prove your point. Come on, man. You're contradicting yourself. You don't even realize what you're doing. You're making yourself look stupid. Getting back to the sun, as I was saying, you have rebirth with the dung beetle, rebirth with the sun. Jesus is the sun. Jesus died and is basically reborn. If you take God as being the sun, he basically comes through the womb of Mary. So he is basically it's rebirth. It's all symbolizing rebirth and the rebirth of the sun.
Well, it doesn't. The Bible has nothing to do with no rebirth. The Bible has to do with God creating man sinning against the holy God, bringing sin and corruption into the earth. And then he promises to bring a savior that will save the earth from sin and restore the earth back to where it was. It has nothing to do with some rebirth. That's not what the Bible is about. It's about God dwelling with man for eternity. That's what it's about. God establishing a relationship with his creation for eternity. It has nothing to do with no rebirth. Okay, because in the beginning, sin came into the earth by one man. And sin is going to be removed from the earth through the blood of one man, Jesus Christ. That is what the whole Bible is about. And each story that talks about that is from every prophet, every story in the book is all leading up to that one point, all the way to Revelation. That's why the book of Revelation talks about what is going to happen at the time that Christ is going to return. So it has nothing to do with no rebirth or no winter solstice or no dung beetles or nothing like that. That's what the Bible is about. God created man sinning against God, bringing sin and corruption into the earth, God sending down a savior to save the earth, and then in the end, God dwelling with his creation for eternity.
Again, this drama queen, this dude being overly dramatic, putting words in my mouth. And he trying to make, like I said, the entire Bible is about rebirth. Never said that. It's not about rebirth. I never said the entire Bible was about rebirth, dude. I'm making a comparison to the dung beetle and rebirth with the sun. As I said this earlier, and the fact that Jesus is the sun. He dies during the winter solstice and is reborn. Just like, again, you can make the comparison with the sun dying every night and is reborn. Rebirth. And then, again, if you just like you just said out your own mouth, one, if you want to look at the fact that the earth being destroyed and then God bringing it back, basically, that's basically rebirth. If you really want to pay attention, it's going to be destroyed and then made new. That's basically rebirth. But I wasn't even really touching on that. That's something you just came up out of nowhere with and put in my mouth. I never said that. I never said the entire Bible is about rebirth. I was making a comparison with the rebirth of the dung beetle and the sun, and the rebirth with Jesus being reborn, dying, and coming back. Rebirth. It's the only thing I was saying. I ain't say the entire Bible has to do with that. So come on, you have nothing. This is why you coming out of nowhere trying to find every little teeny thing to jump on, because you got nothing. Mary giving birth to Jesus. Jesus dying and coming back just like the sun does during the winter solstice. Gone for 3 days, comes back again. You guys have seen all this stuff. Zeitgeist or whatever you've seen it on.
Zeitgeist. You actually use that as a reference point for your information is Zeitgeist, the Zeitgeist movies. Like, I can't believe that this guy, he used that movie. Or those movies that these guys have come up with. If any one of you have ever watched these movies, you can tell that it's such a redundant. It's so many redundancies in that movie, in those movies, I should say. Now, the Zeitgeist movies has nothing to do with bringing you the truth about religion or the Bible or anything like that. Those movies are made because people are trying to push an agenda saying that there is so much corruption and there's so many conspiracies and all of that. It's basically a conspiracy theorist movie. And I know that they've produced more than one movie, but that's what their movies are about. It's about conspiracy theories and all of this type of stuff. But I can't believe that he used Zeitgeist. That's pretty interesting.
Zeitgeist? The Zeitgeist movie? Come on, man. This dude is a joke. First of all, he's trying to make it like I just gave a super big shout out to Zeitgeist, that everything that I talk about deals with Zeitgeist, that Zeitgeist is the greatest, that I said this or something like that. I said, you probably heard about the comparison of Jesus and the Son from something, maybe Zeitgeist or something. That's all I said. I didn't say Zeitgeist was the greatest movie ever and that you should believe everything in it, and I base all my research on Zeitgeist. This dude hype as hell. He talked all this stuff about Zeitgeist as if I gave Zeitgeist the greatest shout out in the world, and I said everything is based on it. It's the greatest thing ever or something. He hype as hell because he has nothing. He got to fill a video up with something. He has nothing. Nothing he said so far proves anything. He has nothing. This dude hasn't shown you one shred of proof, not one picture, proving his point. He put up a couple Bible verses that we can all go and look at. That still doesn't prove his point. He has nothing. So he got to blow up and make it like, I made Zeitgeist the greatest, most true, we use Zeitgeist as a reference point. Dude, I never used Zeitgeist as a reference. I didn't say, I got this information from Zeitgeist. I said, you probably seen it on something like Zeitgeist. Clear as day. You can see, as I said, what people like him and others will go through to try to prove their point. These people are mentally ill. Clearly he jumped the gun on that and he over exaggerating about Zeitgeist. Are you serious? Come on. I haven't even gotten to the really damning information. We're not done with Genesis chapter 1 because it's just major pieces that we can see, where they stole it from.
All right, as you can see, that is the end of part 1 of his video. Now, he has 3 parts to this, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to address each video in each part. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this video, upload it, watch the next part, break it down piece by piece, and then I'm going to respond to that one, and then I'm going to do the same as part 3. I hope that you guys see the premise of his arguments, or what he's basically trying to argue against in this first part of the video. So basically what we're going to do is that when we get into part 2, he's going to try to explain how certain stories parallel from ancient Kemet to the Bible and all of that. But this is what I want you guys to think about. Some of these things that he's going to bring up are only a couple of thousand years before the birth of Christ. Okay, now when we look at the Bible, the first 5 books of the Bible, which is the Torah, those are written by Moses. Okay, so we're talking about around 1500 BC or so. It's around the time that Moses started to write the books. But before that, you had the oral tradition. The story of Noah and the flood. Then you had, Jacob and Esau, all of those types of stories and all of that stuff. Then the first 5 books of the Bible, especially the Genesis account, which talks about, all of those things. Just like I just said, Jacob and Esau, Abraham and Isaac, all of that. Those things were written around maybe a good, I'll probably say 3,500 years before Moses started to write the Bible, the first 5 books of the Bible. So I just want you guys to think about that. Who stole from who? Because if you're going to talk about something that happened maybe 3500 BC, you have to understand that the stories of the Bible, like the flood accounts and all of that stuff, those things had already happened. These stories had already been passed down by the time ancient Egypt even came into play. And you have to understand when it's talking about the Babylonians and the Sumerians and all of that, those people existed before ancient Egypt. So did ancient Egypt steal a lot of their stories? That's what I want you guys to think about. So, as always, you guys have a blessed day. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to get ready to address that in a minute. And if it's already up, go ahead and click on it and watch it. All right.
Okay, so he's talking about the Torah and the oral Torah, and again, he's trying to make it like this stuff is before Kemet. There's absolutely no proof. We don't have any kind of document to prove that Moses even existed or that he wrote anything. Plain and simple. There's no proof. There's no proof of that. So again, to his own logic, where's the proof? Prove it. Who's seen Moses do it? Who was there to witness Moses write this stuff? There's no proof that any of these people exist. We have proof of Kemet. He says that Babylon predates Kemet, the Babylonians. When you have the dating of the Sphinx going back 30,000 years, long before Babylon, the Babylonians. You have the Great Pyramid believed to be, as I pointed out in the previous video, possibly 100,000 years old. So, and these are researchers that we can go and look at today who is talking about this stuff. He don't watch my videos, so he don't know what I talk about. And we could point this stuff out. There's nobody who is going to find an artifact from Moses, proving that it's Moses. It's not going to happen. Again, he's talking about the common stuff that people know about the Bible. This shows me this dude he has no real insight into the book itself and the history of the Bible. Because he doesn't not once mention the Septuagint. Doesn't talk about it not one time. If you want to go into, this is most biblical people know about the Dead Sea Scrolls they always go to. And they talk about Moses and this and that. But they don't know about the history of the Bible and where it really starts at. So if you want to get into, again, as I talked about before, we go back to Ptolemy II Philadelphus, who gave us the Septuagint. There's absolutely no proof of any Hebrew manuscript that existed before the Septuagint Greek. There's no proof of nothing from Moses. Just poof, all of a sudden, we get the Septuagint Greek given to us by a Greek, by Ptolemy II Philadelphus. This is basically what's proven about the Bible. There's no proven biblical manuscript that predates the Septuagint. It don't exist. It damn sure ain't no biblical nothing that predates the pyramid text in Kemet. Nothing. So, it's almost laughable about this video and what this guy's talking about. Making a video. I get a lot of people who come here who debate in the comment section and they say what they gotta say. But this dude made a video against my video that is completely bogus. And I'm trying to figure out what's the point when he proved absolutely nothing. He provided no proof, no primary sources, nothing. So this guy obviously think he did something with the first video. And he said earlier in the beginning of the video that people asked him to basically speak on some of the videos that I put out, and he chose this video, which one is not 3 parts. It's 3 parts to the first part. So everything he's talking about is just part 1. There'll be more videos coming out on this subject. He didn't achieve his goal, first of all, 1, because none of the points that he made refuted anything that I said. He simply over-exaggerated. He implied, jumped to conclusions, and he was completely wrong about a lot of things. He contradicted himself, and he made up shit, to try to prove his point, which is crazy. So this is what delusional religious people do to try to get their point across about the Bible that they do not follow. If this dude actually followed the Bible, he wouldn't be on YouTube. He's a fraud, just like the rest of these so-called biblical people, these biblical scholars. You people are frauds. One, if you actually live by what your Bible says is right before God, you wouldn't be on YouTube. You damn sure wouldn't be addressing me. So he's a fraud in that whole entire aspect. He's not living by what that Bible is talking about. Plain and simple. He knows it. He knows he's not living by it. So he's a fraud. He's coming here trying to get his views up, trying to get his subscribers up because he's been on YouTube since 2010, and this dude don't even got 200 subscribers yet. So he's trying to piggyback off my channel, I guess. So I told this guy, I gave him a chance to take down the video. Told him to take it down. I won't do a video, you take it down, because it's going to make you look bad if I do a video, which he looks stupid right now. I'm not even going to address, as I said, the other videos, because it's a waste of time. And it's the same exact stuff. Him speculating, him over-exaggerating, and he has nothing. You are welcome to watch it to get his views up and help the guy out. But I'm not going to waste my time with that garbage. But since this is the first dude who actually had the balls that I seen to make a video against me, I give him props for that. I definitely got respect for him in that aspect to actually make a video, even though it was absolutely stupid and ridiculous to even attempt it with absolutely no proof and facts. Again, I got a video called There Is No Religious Debate. There is no debate about the Bible. At the end of the day, me and this guy can go back and forth. Me and any Bible believer can go back and forth. And when it's all said and done, all he's going to have is his faith. He's talking about, well, we don't do this based off faith. We're scientific proof and facts and all this, that, none of which he provided, none of which actually exist in fact. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've studied religion extensively. It's not too many people who can mess with me in this field. It's one of the things I consider me being an expert at. And, if there was proof of the Bible, I would be a Christian. I would be a Bible believer, but there's no proof. If I was 99.9% sure that the Bible was not real, I would still be a Christian. Still be. Because with that little room, I would say, it's better safe than sorry. But since I can 100% prove that the book is a fraud and where it came from and what its true purpose is because of the actual research, then of course I don't follow the book. Now, my whole thing is, as I said before, I don't go on these people pages, these Christians pages. I don't jump into their videos and say, you're wrong and you're a fraud. You don't know what you're talking about and this and that, like people come to my page. I don't do that to them. I don't go to their channel. I don't mess with their stuff because, one, I understand that a lot of people need Christianity. They need the Bible. They need to feel like they have this hope, something to hold on to because their life sucks. Basically, they're going through some stuff. They're going through some problems. And a lot of people turn to the Bible to get them strength. I don't knock anybody who basically, who says, this is how I choose to live my life. This is what I choose to believe in. I'm not going to dish you on what you believe in. Please don't disrespect me and what I believe in. So I leave those people alone. I don't mess with nobody who says that. But the people who come here saying that the Bible is proven, that it's fact and it's true, and we all stupid. All of us who don't believe in the Bible or have doubt, we going to hell and we crazy for not believing in it. These are the people who I make these videos to show. One, if you're going to have the balls to actually watch the video, you're going to get some information that's going to prove you wrong. And what I see with a lot of people is they can't handle that information. Once it starts to get heavy and real, the facts will start pointing out. Once it starts making sense, that norepinephrine kicks in. And they get real defensive. This is when the negative comments start. This is when everything kicks in. My video probably destroyed this dude's whole world. You probably seen a couple of my videos that got so angry and said, I'm tired of this guy. Because the videos are so damning and so crushing to his doctrine that he want to make this video and try to go against, what I'm speaking about. And then be completely wrong about it and speculate and do all kinds of, crazy stuff. So, big up to the brother for actually doing a video where other people didn't even want to do a video. They just talk crap and run off. So I give him, like I said, I give him respect for that. But he's wrong. And he looked real stupid right now making this video and being completely off on it. And again, not even going to address anything else. And I just wanted to put this video out to get people to see, what, not just what I go through. I know you guys go through the same thing with your family members or what have you, and people that try to just challenge you on the Bible. We all go through this. But I want to show people that these are the thoughts that people have about the things we talk about when it comes to the Bible. And again, they always come with faith, no facts, no proof. Just simply believe in this God, or you're stupid, or you're going to hell. And this is what we face. So again, I'm definitely done addressing it, and that's the end of it. It ain't gonna be no back and forth between me and this guy. He looked real stupid already, so I'm basically done with it. And basically, everybody who watches my videos and understands what I talk about and what I speak to understands the logic and the things that I'm speaking towards. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm simply looking at everything we've been told, as I said, science included, and examining it and breaking it down and saying something is not right. Because I don't expect these people to give us the truth. They've lied to us about so many things. We have to look at everything they've told us objectively and just question it. And this is what I do, and what people who follow my research do as well. We just analyze everything. We just look at it and see if we can disprove it, or to see where it fits at in our research, and if it makes sense, if it works. This is what we do. Everybody who follows me, y'all understand how I get down and the type of research I put out. Everything is not 100% what I believe. Everything is more so what we have been told, and then I do inject what I think and what I believe, and what my research, I should say, what my research has led me. So I would never say, I don't like to say I think, I don't like to say I believe, I like to say I know. So let me make that clear. But my research and the stuff that I put out is to that effect. It's all about, us coming together and re-examining what we have been told about everything, about religion, about creation and everything like that, and trying to, put the pieces together. This is what we do. Everybody who follows me, this is what we have been doing for the last few years. So again, I want to thank people for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. I have more videos coming out. But, I want you guys to really take a look at the other videos and what this guy has put out against this video, so you can see for yourself the flaws, and you can go ahead and make your own determination about what he's saying. But clearly from this video, we can see the type of research, the deceptive research this guy does, putting words in people's mouth and lying and just coming up out of thin air with questions that people never ask and answering them like we actually asked them. It's crazy. I ain't got time for all that stuff. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next video.